Hello and welcome to the 17th episode of the 86 podcast, hosted by Brandon, aka Swag Rabbit, and myself, Nate from Flat Crank Autocross. Today, big news for truck guys as Ram introduces the new TRX, and Toyota brings Tacoma production to the right side of the border. Plus, VW relaunches the Scout brand with a new SUV, and buyouts rock the car industry. But first, EGR deletes are back on the menu, courtesy of a series of presidential pardons. So, Trump has recently pardoned, he seems to be starting anyways, turning his gaze towards the consumer side of the car industry. And this is one of the early things in that. He alluded to this like a week ago, where he was talking about it's weird that people are being arrested for modifying their own cars. I thought that was, I was kind of wondering what he was talking about. Not that there wasn't anything he could be talking about, but what specifically? And I think we found out. He's referring specifically to guys, diesel tuners, mechanics that have defeated a lot of the environmental bullshit required on diesel vehicles that kills them, that have been, unfortunately, heavily fined or even imprisoned in a lot of cases. So he pardoned 9 of them, their names here, and their crimes mostly are, like, EGR deletes. The EPA was imprisoning people for EGR deletes. There's layers to this bullshit.
Which is funny, because the EPA doesn't have the ability to enforce that, and yet they do it anyway. As far as I know, they shouldn't have the ability to enforce that the way they are. Like, the assholes are straight up raiding people's homes and shit. It even alludes to that in this article.
Yeah. Technically under what was called Chevron deference. I have a fuzzy understanding of that, but from my knowledge, it was essentially if Congress directed an executive branch agency to enforce a law, but didn't set any, like, requirements or allocate funding or something like that, they just got carte blanche to enforce the law, was kind of how it worked. And yeah, it was complete bullshit. The EPA was probably the worst offender with Chevron deference. The ATF, another good close friend of ours, similar. But yeah, they were running roughshod. I mean, again, putting people in prison for EGR deletes. I saw some comments on Reddit, because Reddit is full of wonderful treasure trove of absolutely wonderful takes, talking about, oh, this is so horrible because
Hey, just to make sure I don't get dragged into this, never put me as a friend of the ATF ever again in a sentence, please. Ever.
Okay, anyone that doesn't understand how obvious my sarcasm was, doesn't matter.
Oh, I don't like it. Just don't do. I am not a friend of the ATF, and I fuck them. Fuck the EPA, fuck the ATF. I get the reasoning behind their existence, but the way they do things is just way too far in most cases.
So, some people are talking about, oh, it's so horrible. They were doing EGR deletes on entire fleets of vehicles. Pro tip.
Good.
Go to your nearest recruiting office. It might be called an Armed Forces Career Center. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to tell the smug bastard in a uniform that you want to be these words are crucial, wheeled vehicle mechanic. Now, you have to go through like 9 weeks of absolute bullshit in the hot Oklahoma sun. But when that's complete, and when you've gone through a few more weeks of bullshit, and I don't know where they do their AIT, you too can perform EGR deletes on entire fleets of vehicles, because government and military vehicles have been exempted from this bullshit for a long time. Go figure.
Yeah, so this is just another case of when it happened, it was rules for thee, but not for me. And the government was like, regular people need this bullshit that's going to ruin their engines. It's going to make everything harder. It's going to put fleets of vehicles out of service for repairs constantly, but the government and the military don't need that shit, so we're just gonna whatever.
And see, my problem is not with the military being allowed to do this, because it's the military. They shouldn't be held back by environmental nonsense, right? They're here to kill people. They're not here to save the planet.
No, I agree with you, but it's the double.
Yeah, my problem, as I was continuing, my problem is with it being imposed on the American people, because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Some of this diesel particulate filters, I don't have a super huge skin in the game on that. DPF, I mean, diesel exhaust fluid, okay, is like caustic bullshit. Diesel exhaust fluid actually has like the mandates to use DEF and everything that goes with it, sum total, are worse for the environment than just plain old diesel exhaust. DEF and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. But EGR specifically is catastrophic because what you are doing with EGR is you are forcing an engine to eat its own shit. Now, for a gasoline engine, a lot of gasoline engines have EGR. You go back to like '05, you see gas engines with EGR. It's not so bad for gasoline engines because gasoline is a more heavily refined product and tends to be a little bit cleaner. It is awful for diesels because, and also gas engines tend to run a little bit hotter as I understand it, so they're better at burning that shit off. Diesels are just constantly ingesting the soot and gunk that comes out of them, sucking it back in. They can't burn that shit off. It comes in, it clogs up the intake valves, it clogs up the cylinders, it blows by the piston rings and into the crankcase and gums up your oil. It just makes an engine that already, frankly, is, and I'm going to say it, fairly highly polluting as far as engines go, so much worse. Just so much worse. Dramatically worse.
In the long run, it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
So on big rigs specifically, as somebody who was in that field for a long time, with big rigs, if you run out of DEF in a big rig, it goes into limp mode. It tops you out at 40 miles an hour and gives you about 20% of the total power out of the engine. And this could happen randomly on the highway. The moment you run out of DEF and the engine realizes it, it forces a fucking limp mode.
Yeah.
Imagine doing that at 60 on the highway and having the thing just cut out completely. You could be in a really bad way if that happens all of a sudden.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, wouldn't that impair the functionality of the Jake brakes? Would it? I mean,
that
you're the trucker.
Fucking everything.
Yeah, I defer to your expertise.
So the Jake brakes and all that stuff run off of the air. There are air tanks that store compressed air on there, but it all comes off the engine. So if you're using them too much or whatever and it can't rebuild it, then yes, you have a major problem. Also, the other thing that they did so that EGRs would fucking not kill trucks as fast is they created a mode where it high idles. And when I say high idles, it triples the fucking revs on the thing and intentionally runs horribly to heat up exhaust. Like, it superheats them effectively by running horribly at high idle in order to burn this stuff off. And that's how they get around some of the burn off stuff. That's not good for the environment either. When you're having a fucking high idle, when you're having to high idle a diesel and superheat shit in order to burn shit off, that's not good. So you basically created another problem. I can see getting on people that intentionally like tune their vehicles to roll coal. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
It's kind of asshole-ish.
Yeah.
It's funny in certain situations, but if you're like every time you even step on the gas even a little bit, it rolls a massive pile of coal, yes, I can see where you start having a problem.
Yeah, but like
for every day, you can tune a diesel to not fucking roll big black clouds.
Everything that I hear and see and read about EGR, about DPFs, about DEF is that it is catastrophically worse for the environment than just not having these things. The default position of just letting these engines be without any of this mandated technology bullshit and allowing the natural progression of engines getting more and more efficient as a function of time, which is how it works. Consumers want more. Consumers want cars that consume less fuel, and consumers want cars that make more power, which requires increasing thermal efficiency, which makes it more fuel efficient. That's just how things progress if you leave it alone. You don't need to touch anything to make gasoline and diesel engines cleaner. And instead, you mandate all this bullshit that A, doesn't work, and B, makes shit actively fucking worse. So, and then C, you throw people in prison when they get rid of this shit. I mean, so I'm glad that these pardons are coming down. I hope it's just the start, and I hope that the EPA can get very forcefully unfucked and like stop just putting bullshit on cars. Because really, the problem is not cars. The problem is not personal transportation. It never was. It never has been. It frankly never will be. The problem has always been heavy industry, power generation, and over ocean transportation. And hey, guess what solves that? Nuclear power, which I'm a strong advocate for, reasonable technology implementation in industrial settings, and maybe shipping less crap from overseas and building shit in America with American parts and American materials, But unfortunately, like, this is not about saving the environment. This is not about making the world a better place. This is about, people's ridiculous agendas. So, not to go too far down that rabbit hole.
I could also I could totally see a world, and this kind of diverges from diesels a little bit, but I could totally see a world where all this extra shit, like cars do not need like leather seats and shit. I could see a world where lower end car manufacturers like Toyota and stuff make base trim cars, and then everything is aftermarket. So like, you want a backup camera, it's aftermarket, but it's cheaper because everybody's making backup cameras because everything now can run a backup camera, but it's going to be an aftermarket part. I could see where cars are cheap and the aftermarket gives you everything you need, which is the way it should be, honestly. Let's be real.
So
my car doesn't need a backup camera. If I wanted one, I could put one in.
That's the second gen's got a back because they were mandated, what, 2018? I want to say 2020.
I own a 2015.
Does it have a backup camera? Oh yeah, because you have the first gen. The article also name drops killing auto start stop, which one of this administration's
saves 1 gallon a year,
victories.
but costs you another fucking 300 a year because you got to buy alternators constantly. Yeah.
It burns through starters, and you need to use these like really expensive lithium batteries that don't last any longer, but provide the amperage to keep cranking your engine over and over again. But sure, will save a gallon of gas. Also makes pulling away from a light harder and has possibly killed people. I stand by the notion that there may be people who have been killed by auto stop start because they couldn't get power when they needed it to get out of a sudden emergency situation. So
yeah, I could see sitting in traffic, you come to a stop, it stops, and then you could have moved, somebody coming up behind you hits you.
Yeah,
I could easily see that being the case.
Or hits you.
They never look into it, and even if they did, it'd be buried, but I could totally see it.
Hits you, pushes you into traffic, and that little delay when it starts up, or maybe your battery's old and worn and it's struggling, or your starter's worn, just enough time for a truck to come by and cream you. It's probably killed people. So I'm glad that's gone. I'm hoping we can just get rid of, just get rid of EGR. Like, that's the biggest offender, is just forcing engines to choke in their own shit. Get rid of EGR. If it genuinely makes the engine run better, which a lot of gas motors have EGR, and to my knowledge, that's not really a problem for gas motors, and it seems to give them better fuel economy. So fine, include that shit in your engine if it genuinely makes it run better. But if it doesn't, get rid of it.
They need to drop DEF requirements too.
Yeah.
Diesel exhaust fluid is basically pure ammonia. It's fucking poison.
It's mostly
and for
urea,
people that aren't paying quite enough attention, but for people that aren't paying attention, you accidentally pour even half a drop into your gas tank, it'll destroy the entire system. Wow. When I was with my first trucking company, we had one of my coworkers destroy a truck on accident because she put in a fucking like a gallon of DEF into the fuel system, and then while it was running, and it immediately just like clogged the system like that and destroyed it. They ended up having to fucking rebuild the entire thing.
Yeah.
They had to tear out the entire fuel system, the engine, tear everything down and rebuild it.
Well, it's basically urea, I think, isn't it? Like, it's essentially piss. I can't spell.
Basically. It's okay, neither can I.
Yeah, it's urea and water. It's basically piss. You're pouring piss into your engine. Or not into your engine, into your exhaust. Sorry, threw me off. Yeah, it's piss.
It smells like poison. You get it on you, it feels like fucking acid. It's just not great. The shit needs to go away. And it costs $5 a gallon. Piss. A bottle of piss costs $5 a gallon.
Ouch.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. Just that real quick. There we go. So, moving on to something nicer in the truck space, something a little bit happier. The Ram TRX is back. Ooh. And it sounds fun. Okay, so...
Look at that beautiful bastard.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on. I'm trying to move my Streamlabs and it keeps... All right. So, look at that gorgeous thing indeed. I don't care about other articles. Why do they... So, TRX, it's their
You can actually see the long travel on the back.
Ooh. It's Dodge's new big souped up version of the 1500. It has that...
Well, it's not new. It's a return of the big boy of the 1500. So they have had TRXs for a while. They cut production, I think, 2 or 3 years ago, maybe as late as last year. And then they realized that they weren't going to be making any sales unless they had fun shit again. So they brought this back. They made the whole new line of street trucks that they're going to try out. And then they also brought back the gas versions of the new Charger and Challenger. Or new Charger with 2 and 4-door options because they didn't want to have 2 cars, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, so this is a return of the Hellcat truck. Thank God.
Yep. It has... Oh, I find some of these pros and cons fun. FD steering feel. Oh, shit. Thirsty as hell. It's a big V8 in a
it's a
sports
supercharged V8 that everybody drives by just putting their foot to the floor so that they can feel it.
Yeah.
It's how that truck is driven. I've never seen one drive normal on the highway. And still a six-figure truck. It's the best off-road truck on the market with the biggest, meanest fucking engine. It's like the only six-figure truck I could see being a six-figure truck, if I'm honest. And that includes the Raptor Rs. I don't think the Raptor R should go for above.
I don't think that this
99.
is a six-figure truck.
I don't think they're worth it.
I don't think this is a six-figure truck, but only because I think most cars on the market today really ought to be like 20 to 50% cheaper than they actually are.
Everything's too overpriced.
Yeah.
You're
so
right.
Like in an ideal world, this should not be a six-figure truck. This should be 80K at most. But because this is the world we live in, it's like 106. Fine. It makes, what is that, like
and the cheapest version of the truck with the V6 should be fucking like the cheapest version of this truck with the V6 should be 40 or less. Yeah. So yes, I think top end these trucks should be 80, but the world we live in is not like that. So they're going to start at 110, and the first generations of the new ones are going to be sold for 130 because of fucking dealer markup. But I love the pros. One of the best suspension systems off-road without fucking question. And glorious V8 noise. Glorious is an understatement. I don't know if you've ever heard one of these things, but it's fucking fantastic.
Front axle, 13 inches of travel.
And I don't know if they're going to do it, but the first generations of these, goddamn.
Front axle boasts 13 inches of axle travel, and the rear has 14. So yeah, talk about long travel. It's got over a foot. It makes 777 horsepower and 680 foot-pounds of torque. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds, which is fucking terrifying for a vehicle of this size. Oh.
Well, and the thing leans hard when it launches too, because it's got so much travel on the suspension. The back end basically touches the ground when you launch.
Oh. Yeah, that looks awesome. That sounds awesome. Yeah, so it comes fairly fully equipped out of the box. Maybe I'm a boomer, but goes back to the price. I get that it's the top trim, but I really wish that performance didn't have to come just in the fully equipped trims. Like, sell me a performance vehicle that isn't fully loaded. That's just like, I don't know, stripped back. That's what makes the 8.6s fun. Settings.
The Raptor R that's not as good as this truck comes for $12,000 more, just cementing the fucking idea that Ford charges way too much for their shit. Have you ever seen the engine cover, the engraved image on the engine cover for these cars? This was made to beat the Raptor, so they embossed a picture. I sent you the image on your Discord if you want to stream that real quick.
I will.
All right, personal message. I guess I could message the Discord.
All right, should hopefully be loading in a second. And why is everything so slow? Oh yeah.
This was made to beat the Raptor, so they embossed an image of a T-Rex eating a Raptor on every engine cover for these vehicles.
That is amazing, and I love it. Yeah, this thing looks, at least externally and in terms of performance, very sexy, if more money than I think it ought to be. The interior, I mean, it's got digital
The interior
gauges.
is too busy on a truck that's meant to be off.
Yeah, that is way too busy. There is just too much going on. It's we don't need.
I think off-road performance trucks should always be stripped back.
Yeah, they should be stripped back.
That's an egregious one too. That's one of their big ones.
Yeah, stripped back and have handles in the interior, and at least there's a couple of them. But all I'm seeing is crap that's gonna break. I mean, I'll credit it. I love the windshield. It just keeps going up. I like
the windshield's gigantic and good.
Yeah. Center iPad dash. No. The fact that and you probably see it better in this one. Yeah. The pitch and roll things. Give me a little mechanical cluster for that, please. I beg of you. I beg and I plead of you. But you know, I don't hate it. I don't even necessarily dislike it. I just wish it was different. So I'm not going to complain too much. At least it's got.
Dude, I'm waiting for the first time somebody launches that thing into orbit and something comes flying out of the back seat and fucking breaks their screen into a billion pieces.
I do love that it's got
that iPad dash just doesn't need to be in an off-road truck.
Very nice.
The shifter is good.
Yeah, chunky looking, probably chunky feeling shifter. One of those ones where you just go chunk, 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 chunk. It better feel weighty to click into gear.
It better have the weighty clicks on it.
Yeah, it's an 8-speed automatic, but I will take that. It is electronically limited to 118 miles an hour. It's with a 777 horsepower supercharged V8 and an 8-speed automatic. I guarantee you, if you were to put it on a dyno and disable the electronic limit, it could go faster than that. It could probably go a lot faster. This thing could maybe brush, off the top of my head, could probably brush 160. Can it actually do that on the road? Probably not. And I'm willing to wager the reason why they limited it is probably even near that, you're going to start getting some fairly scary feeling wobble because it's a big fucking truck.
So anybody who can actually afford these trucks are just going to bring it down to Texas and take it to the Hennessy place, or the Hennessy factory anyway. And Hennessy is going to upgrade the damn thing into the Mammoth 1000, pushing the supercharged engine to 1012 horsepower. They raised the speed limiter to 130 due to aerodynamics and off-road tire limitations.
Oh yeah, because you're going to blow apart those tires.
This truck is absolutely could go 160 if it had the right tires and suspension set up. Hell, the thing probably could go to 200 miles an hour. And I think that's kind of what the road is for. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
It's a sexy ass truck, ain't it?
I'm not even a truck guy. Man, that looks
You don't have to be a truck guy. Hennessy makes you one.
Oh yeah, Hennessy does a lot. So yeah, 3.5 seconds.
I think they even 6x6 convert these.
Oh, I saw some photos of that. 3.5 seconds 0 to 60 time. Again, absolutely terrifying for something this big. I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, Ram TRX. It is back and better than ever. Of course, there are other things you could do with this engine. Other vehicles you could put it in. It might even fit in a Miata.
It's been proven that it fits in a Miata a couple times.
Not the supercharged one,
and
though.
It makes the cars undrivable to everybody that actually does it. Yes, no, the supercharged one. We were talking about the Hellcat Miata the other day. This is the same fucking engine.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm forgetful. So, yeah, I don't...
There's another version that I'm pretty sure hasn't been fitted in to the Miata, but it's because it's a 1,000 horsepower Elephant. I swear to God. Okay, so that says Hellcat powered.
Okay.
The Elephant is a slightly different engine. I think it's the same engine, but it's tuned more.
Okay, so not quite, but can't wait. So yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else on this? Seems perfectly
beautiful
fine.
Truck. Too expensive, but the whole market is too expensive. And the fact that it costs less than its competitor, that it actually fucking outstrips in every way, Ford. Yeah, that's a fucking amazing truck right there.
You're a Dodge guy, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not apologetic about that either. Look, if Fords were reliable, but we have way too many situations in this podcast where we go, oh, Ford fucked up again? Oh, that's a big fuck up.
Yeah, that's basically a tradition at this point.
Well, I mean, stop having a new fucking set of do not drive orders every week, and maybe I'll start liking Fords more.
What's this week's week? Yep, 8 hours ago. I don't care. Fuck off, Fox. 110,000 Mustangs over windshield wiper issues. Oh, this is like today, too. Rear differential that can cause a sudden loss of power. Oh, so the rear differential just pops.
Mm-hmm.
What was the wiper?
Wipers and rear differentials. The wipers on these cars may fail in cold weather, but the other funny one is that they won't even fucking work sometimes unless they're on the highest setting.
Can I just say, this is a recall for wipers failing in cold weather. It's July. It's fucking July. How bad does the problem have to be if you issue a recall for adverse performance in cold weather in July?
My point.
So yes, that is our weekly. That is our Ford recall of the week.
Yeah, and also, I'm not just a Dodge guy because Ford sucks. And I think I'd choose GM products over Ford at this point, realistically. But the fucking Dodges look the best, sound the best, have the best performance at the cheapest price. Not the cheapest, but like,
yeah,
they have the best of all worlds and they look fucking fantastic.
This one does.
Uh-huh.
And what I really love about it, the front grille. The designers sat down, sketched it out, and you know what they did? They put down their pencils and they went to lunch.
And then they came back and said, and then they came back and they said, we just need this to be the same color as the paint regarding the Ram logo. And this is where the SRT will grow. Okay, it's perfect. We're good now.
They fucking stopped.
They started designing and they decided to stop designing at some point instead of going until the fucking wheels fell off and they were told, all right, we're out of time.
I actually don't hate that front end. It looks very nice for once for a truck. Okay, moving on. Speaking of trucks, this one's great. This one's so Toyota has announced that they are investing $3.6 billion over the next 3 years to move their Tacoma production back to Texas from Baja California. I think, yeah, they said
no, it's Baja. It wasn't California. It was Mexico.
Yeah, Baja California, the Baja Peninsula in Mexico. There's California, there's Baja California. Blame the 16th century Spanish.
Well, we can blame them for a lot, but that's going beyond the.
And this podcast,
back to car shit.
On this podcast, we blame the Maine on Spain. So,
that one caught me a little off guard.
So, as they say, it's been exclusively built in Mexico since 2021, but they're planning on moving it back to San Antonio. They're basically doubling the size of their manufacturing facility in Texas, and probably not moving just to Tacoma. I'd imagine there's a lot of other shit they're moving back. It says it will bring 2,000 new jobs to the facility, which is very nice. 2,000 new Texan jobs. I'm sure you appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Expected to have an annual capacity of 150,000 vehicles per year. That's
dope.
Yeah, that's fucking dope. I was going to make a Subaru joke, but it didn't quite form. What are they like? They're like the 13th largest auto manufacturer in terms of yield. Like, I don't build much. This is awesome. We can speculate on reasons why. Big reason is probably tariffs. I'd imagine it's hit the point where the cost of importing these things outweighs the benefits from cheaper labor. Labor in Mexico has also been getting more expensive. That economy is kind of bringing itself up, so the differential there is less.
Well, while people are still getting paid more, they're not getting paid enough to afford these things. So
yeah, the
biggest market over here is still going to be us.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're having to pay tariffs to get them out of Mexico, which is costing them a lot.
Yep.
So they're just like, yeah, we're going to move the shit over here. And if anybody wants them, we can give a couple units a year to Mexico. Maybe, like a fourth of the current units can go to fucking, goddamn, I can't even speak in Canada. But yep. Canada's so dumb. Canada's going to stop buying from Japan because they think that China's not going to fuck them. So I don't know how that's going to work.
Interesting. Well, I mean, they're buying from us now with this. I'm happy to see more automakers investing more in the US. Hyundai, there was this thing a couple years ago, they were opening new plant. I think Subaru's expanding their facility in Indiana. So a lot of manufacturing moving back to this country. We're being a little bit better about kind of investing in it, freeing up a lot of stuff to enable it.
Ford is bringing back production. Some of the German automakers are creating places here to make stuff. It's going well.
Yep. 2,000 auto jobs. Yeah. And you'll be able to buy
just this facility.
Yeah. And you'll be able to buy a Tacoma made entirely in the United States. Looking forward to that.
The Tacomas are nice trucks too. Yeah. I don't like the current body style as much, and I think it's a little bit too big, but like Tacomas are still really nice fucking trucks.
Well, I mean, all trucks really are too big. Even like the Santa Cruz and the Ranger are too big for what they are. It's just too chunky.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the brand new one and the year model before, the difference in size is actually pretty striking. I mean, it's quite the difference.
Wonder if I can pull up a comparison here.
Yeah, let's see if we can.
Yeah. Whatever. Come on. Book it. Hurry up. Ugh, fucking Cloudflare.
Don't you just love it?
I love the enshittification of oh yes, the Chevy Corvette is indeed smaller than the Lincoln Navigator. Thank you.
I would fucking hope so.
All right, that's not working, so I'll have to do this the old-fashioned way. What is it, the 4th gen?
The third gen is the newest, so the 2nd gen.
Or give me some years.
Okay, 1 sec. Do a 2016 and a current. No, maybe 2020 and a current.
Yep. So yeah, a couple inches. It's got about 4.5-inch longer wheelbase. It's about 4 inches taller. All that about 2.5 inches wider and a little under an inch longer. So it's a bit bigger.
Okay, let me send you a picture. You can actually get a good view of how they've grown.
Okay.
I've got the side profiles.
Oh.
It's pretty striking once you see it. I'll just send it directly to you, I guess. Pace. So the bottom two. The third one is the one I really like, and the fourth one is the newest. It looks quite a bit bigger.
I see your point. Yeah, bigger and
But the third body style is super, super nice to me.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite as well. Bigger, but it's got I think the same size bed. Don't you just love cafe?
Yeah, it's the best. Let's never talk about this again. We get really political about it.
So yeah, they are still going to be building some in their Guanajuato. I'm pronouncing that some way. The Guanajuato factory. But they're going to be moving stuff out of Baja and into San Antonio. Yeah. More manufacturers do this. Also start building K cars again, like the fun ones.
Yeah.
Build the Honda Beat.
The fun ones.
Sell the Honda Beat here. Mazda, bring back the AZ1.
Mazda, bring back the RX-7 first.
So, the 2028 Scout Traveler, as I understand it, Scout made what? Like small off-road SUV things? And
no, back in the 70s, they were the main competition for the Broncos. They were competition for the Broncos and the so these were actually high end. Let me send you a picture of the old one.
So, the short of it though is that Volkswagen owns the rights to the name, and they are relaunching it as a sort of off-road oriented sub-brand to sell interesting off-road vehicles. Yep. Ooh, that does look interesting.
So these were full-sized off-road vehicles with V6/V8 engines. Their main competition was the Chevy Blazer and the Ford Bronco. And these were great cars at the time. These were super cool. I've seen a couple for sale. They still go for quite a bit, and you could do with a lot with them. They're like modern-day Jeeps. You could tear all the paneling off the top, make them fully open. You could do a lot with these vehicles. And being Volkswagen, they have decided to make a perfectly capable off-road car that looks really good and then ruin it in its entirety by making it fully EV.
And it doesn't even make sense either. So they're selling the Traveler.
It's a body-on-frame chassis. They're actually trying.
They're selling the Traveler, and there's a pickup version called the Terra, and then they're going to make, there's a third one they said, or no. Okay, so we'll start with
These are both good-looking vehicles too.
We'll start with the good body on frame. Good. Mechanically locking front and rear diffs. Very nice. You'd need, if it's all-wheel drive, I think you'd need a locking center diff as well. I'm not sure, or at least like a dedicated 4-wheel drive mode. However, well, okay, so it's gonna be an EV with, they want a driving range of 350 miles, so it's going to bog down in the mud.
Means it's never going to be an off-road vehicle.
Yeah, it's going to bog down.
Not only that, it's you're not going to be able to go far enough out to get anywhere.
Well, they are selling a range extender version, which is just a hybrid. We used to call those hybrids back in the good old days. With a range of 500 miles, which is nice, I suppose.
Should have been the fucking basic version instead of the fully electric one.
I shouldn't have a fully electric one. My concern is the weight. Like, my concern is how much is this thing gonna weigh if it's a full EV? I mean, sure, 1,000 pound-feet of torque is nice. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds is pretty neat, but it's what they're claiming. I don't think there's not actually, because this is all like preliminary. I don't think they've gotten their hands on one to test just yet. The pickup is gonna have a 5-ton tow rating. The SUV is, what is that, 3.5 tons? So yeah, pretty standard.
The pickup is also going to do exactly what fucking Hoovie had the
yeah.
Do you remember a while back Hoovie had that fucking electric truck that he tried to drag a fucking Model T like 50 miles with and it couldn't make it?
Yep.
That's exactly what's going to happen with this. You're going to try to tow anything, and it's going to give you 5 miles of range on a full tank or full charge.
We don't have information on how much this thing weighs, but if they want it to go 300, if they want to haul this thing 350 miles of battery power alone, it's gonna be a brick and a half. And that's a problem if you want to go, it's potentially a problem if you want to go off-roading. I mean, it's complicated, but
it's such a waste because this is a good-looking vehicle.
Yeah, I'd worry about it getting bogged down in the mud, personally.
Well, I'm not even worried about the mud. Somebody's gonna park this on the beach and it's gonna be buried to the frame in 15 minutes. They're gonna park it. It's gonna sink like a fucking rock.
It is a nice looking, and for once, like, the big screen in the dash is actually integrated very well. I do love these dials and buttons here that kind of evoke a sort of old school radio. That's very nice looking. It is a very nice interior, but again, it's a pure EV, which means I'm of mixed minds on this. I think the hybrid
I think the car
version
looks incredible.
Yeah.
I think this is a very Ferrari Luce. There is one big glaring error in that it's a full EV, and the rest of it is good.
I wouldn't say that about the Luce.
The Ferrari Luce, Look, the Luce had two big glaring errors. The EV thing could have been forgiving if it was a very fucking crazy hypercar looking vehicle.
But it looked like a Prius, and it weighed 5,000 pounds.
It looked like a Prius. It weighed 5,000 pounds. Nobody would have cared if it was full electric. Like, less people would have bought it, but nobody would have cared if it was full electric, if it looked good like a Ferrari.
And this thing may also be about that weight, which...
That profile looks so good.
It does.
That car looks incredible.
It does. Dual motor powertrain, so no center diff, so I guess, well, yeah, that can work. I mean, I'm not as bearish on the full EV powertrain as you are, I think. I think it can work. I'm a little baffled by it.
Well, I just think that this is, they're making a body on frame. They're trying to make a vehicle that obviously they want people to go off-road with, but any actual fucking person that's going to spend any amount of time off-road is not going to take one of these off-road. They're going to go buy something with a gas motor, like fully gas motor, that they can fucking work on. This is going to break down in the middle of nowhere, and then you're going to have to take a fucking off-road tow truck that costs tens of thousands of dollars per trip to get it back out, and then they're never going to take it anywhere dangerous ever again.
Yeah, and I think that is probably what scuppers sort of off-roading and full EVs is. Off-roading it's brutal on cars. It's rough on vehicles. Like, no matter what, no matter how you build them or what you build them out of, it's like true off-roading. All right, we're not talking about the kind of off-roading that the people who buy these are going to be doing. Or the kind of off-roading that really any EV driver thinks is off-roading, where you take it onto like a gravel trail and you go over a couple bumps, go through a few potholes, and go, I'm off-roading. Like actual off-roading, where you're going off the beaten path. Brutal on cars. I mean, there's...
Well, and forget a river crossing in an electric car. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, what was that? I think
so. Anything that requires even a little bit of fucking standing water.
Yeah, I think you showed me a while ago these Aussies that go out and like make trails out in the brush, and they're constantly breaking down.
Yeah,
and they have solid, reliable 4x4
24/7 or something like that.
They have solid, reliable vehicles. They're just getting the crap beat out of them. But the thing is, with a gas-powered vehicle, you can fix it, and you can fix it fairly readily. Less so overcomplicated modern vehicles, which is why they use like 20-year-old Toyotas. I love my 20-year-old Subaru because it's super easy to work on. Everything's just right there. It's not overly cluttered and everything. That's kind of what you want if you're truly going off-road. And I have truly gone off-road in that thing. I used to go recreationally shooting out in the middle of nowhere in Washington State. And because there's a ton of federal land you can just go out and go shooting on. And yeah, you just start at a trailhead and just putter off into the distance, find a place with a berm and have a good old time. I don't know that you're really going to be doing that in this. So I mean, and I know people are going to be saying like, oh, why wouldn't it be perfectly capable for off-roading? The kind of off-roading that you're thinking is probably gravel trail. And that's great. And this is probably perfectly adequate for a gravel trail or for like environments like where it's getting its picture taken, right? This kind of off-roading, mild hills, scrubland, it'll be fine for this, but so will a Toyota Camry. And a Toyota Camry doesn't weigh 5,000 pounds and costs $80,000.
The kind of off-roading I'm talking about, the kind of off-roading that I'm talking about is where you have to build your suspension to handle it. It's called overlanding.
Yeah, through the brush.
It's fucking, there's no trail. You make the trail as you go, essentially.
Through the brush up the side of a mountain. They're aiming for it to come in below.
This is going to be a pavement princess.
They're aiming for it to come in below 60 grand. I doubt it. I doubt it. Not
if they could get this thing
industry.
under 60 grand, it might up. It's not going to be in today's economy, but if they could get these things to come under 60 grand, they'd actually be a pretty good deal. It's a very cool looking car. It's going to break a lot, and since it's a new product,
it's going to be
probably have a lot of problems in the first few iterations.
It's going to be under 60 for the pure EV. The hybrid, which is the one that you're actually going to want, is going to be probably closer to 70, 75, which is a shame because, again, this is a gorgeous interior.
Most likely.
I don't think there's any part of this interior I don't like. It's just...
I'm kind of right there with you.
I'm even okay with this. Okay, I found one thing I don't. Well, actually, I take that back. I was, at first glance, a little bit annoyed by this little speed limit marker, but actually that's kind of convenient. The only problem I have is how it's getting that number, but I mean, whatever. Sure.
Well, maps these days, usually, if they're in range, they usually try to refresh on the second. So as you're passing the sign that changes the speed limit, it'll change.
Yeah,
that depends on the internet connectivity.
I don't like that it's tracking you to that extent. I don't like what's being done with that data, but oh well, I'll have to live with it.
I don't like the idea of what's being done with that data, especially with a company like Volkswagen, who,
Yeah, I love these switches. Like
Volkswagen owns Audi, who's trying to get in with China. So how do we know this isn't just fucking more Chinese tech?
I do love this. I mean, it's just so nice looking.
It's a very good looking car.
This.
And I even like that little the clear storage space under the fucking middle console is good.
Yes.
Like, that's good.
Build this, just put like a 3-4 liter V6 in it. You know you want to.
It would lighten the car up by over a ton and make it a viable off-road product.
Yeah.
Like, easily.
Hang on. Okay, good. I saw this shot, I was a little concerned, but no, those are real door handles. Those are actual, honest to God, real door handles. They're not the stupid, like, flush door handles. They're actual door handles. Yes. Okay. I was
get
concerned.
Stuck in die handles. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do like that. That does look nice. A little bit of lighting. I mean, it's a gimmick and it's gonna...
The car looks incredible.
It's a gimmick and it's gonna break, but I mean, while it works, it looks gorgeous.
Oh, for sure. It's gonna short out and catch on fire. That's gonna be the newest recall on this. But other than that, the car looks incredible.
And then the
front end looks really good. The front end is a nice it's a modern homage to the old front end, which is good.
Yeah, it's just...
The back end on the truck could use some work.
Provide up 12-inch ground clearance, be capable of fording up to 3 feet of water, allegedly.
Only 3 feet? I doubt that.
Yeah.
If you have any damage to the undercarriage at all of a sudden that 3 feet of water is going to be, don't get it above the tire. Or don't get it above, like, the bottom of the rim.
I'm kind of amused by the anti-roll bar disconnect. Every car, I think, has an anti-roll bar disconnect. You undo like one bolt and you've disconnected your roll bar. I know, I've done it. It's why am I
60 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds. But again, these are supposed to be off-road style vehicles. Nobody gives a shit about the 0 to 60. Everybody wants to know what the low end can do because that's for rock crawling.
I mean, they look gorgeous. I'm gonna wait to see when we have like actual information about these, and especially like how much they're gonna weigh, like north or south of 2.5 tons, because if they're too heavy, that's
most likely north. And I am already seeing these things being pavement princess cars that barely anybody has. Unfortunately, I love the look. I think the back end of the truck needs work. I think the light system on that is a bit ugly, but other than that, the cars look really good to me.
I got any closer shot? I like it, actually.
The light bar across the whole thing is a little much.
It's a good color for it, though. A kind of orangish, like,
it's a good
sunset
color for it,
red.
It's not bad. It's just a little bit much to me. Like, it doesn't look terrible.
Yeah. Ooh, it's got that.
The truck 3-seater doesn't look bad either.
Yeah, that third seat, that's thing we don't see in vehicles very often. Love this dashboard. Love the paneling.
If you're in a single cab, then yes, you see it all the time. But a 4-door, you don't see that much.
Ooh, and it's got an actual brake pedal. Should not be a shock, but...
That is... I like the way that bed looks because those fucking arches for the wheel arches are not huge in that bed.
Yeah.
Like, that leaves a lot of room. That's good. In my opinion, that's a good bed.
Yeah.
I kind of wish some of the, like,
and I think
regular
that's
gas trucks looked like that as far as
integrated bed lighting, which is also something that you don't see in a lot of vehicles.
Well, that's a gimmick that's going to break pretty immediately if you use it for what a truck's supposed to be used for, but it is a nice touch.
Yeah. So I do look forward to seeing these. They look very, very nice. And I can
Wait, go to the bottom. It gave measurements. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
What's that saying?
71.7 inch cab to bumper in the rear, so that's probably like a 67-inch bed, about 5 feet. 229 inches long, 448.6 inch wheelbase, 91-inch width, 77-inch height. So it's a bit big. I think it's bigger than
a bit big.
Tacoma, actually.
I think it's bigger than the Tacoma, but still not. I think it's just under the size of your typical 1500 class trucks, maybe.
Damn. But yeah.
So it's kind of in a it's in a weird spot, but at least if that's the case, it's smaller than typical 1500s, which will be good.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing one of these in person, especially because I can guarantee it's going to be in pristine condition.
No use.
All right, moving on. So, two very interesting sort of buyout / takeovers in the, not automotive industry, but adjacent to it. The first one is Napa is buying O'Reilly, which is interesting.
Go up to the top picture real quick.
Yes.
Just as an aside, I want to burn you at the stake, whoever did that to a 70 Chevelle. I want that to go on record. How fucking dare you ruin a pristine Chevy Chevelle from the 70s by doing that? How fucking dare you? Okay, we can go on now.
So this article makes a pretty interesting point, that Napa is kind of a hybrid franchise. So they say it tends to have more experienced parts counter workers. I wouldn't know. I just go to AutoZone. The cool thing about AutoZone is that you can ignore like literally anything the guy behind the counter says because he's an idiot. You just come in and say, I need this part, and then just keep repeating that until he gives it to you. No, you do not need...
Yeah, my nearest parts store is O'Reilly's. We have a lot of them around here, so that's what I use.
So they're concerned that wait, is it Napa buying O'Reilly's or O'Reilly buying Napa? I may have gotten that
it's gonna fucking make the market smaller.
O'Reilly's buying Napa. Okay, so this
O'Reilly's buying Napa.
This makes a little bit more sense. All right, so O'Reilly is a bit more of the sort of big corporate chain, you know, with all of that implies and entails. Napa, they make the argument, is a little bit more sort of local, more mechanic oriented, tends to have more knowledge staff and focuses more on customer experience. And they're worried that that's gonna kind of disappear with this purchase. And I can see that. My concern is, I mean, if you have less diversity in the space, prices are gonna go up, service quality is gonna go down. All of that implies for people that want to work on their own cars. So, I mean, it's only a bid. This is, I mean, it's ongoing. If it goes through, it'll go through by, they think the end of the summer. But there's also concerns about antitrust and anti-monopoly laws that could stop the effort or could kind of hinder it. So we'll see.
Well, the last time the government stepped in because of anti-monopoly or whatever, it ended with Southwestern closing down, or was it Southwestern? It was Spirit.
Yeah, Spirit Airlines. Oh, that was a whole palaver in and of itself.
Yeah, so Spirit Airlines was supposed to be bought, and because they couldn't be bought, they ended up failing, and we lost a fucking company anyway, because, you know, the government doesn't know how to do anything right, but that's just an aside.
Yeah, and that's kind of a point that can be made here. Napa, as the article points out, has been struggling. Their supply chain's a little bit rougher because they're not as big and centralized as, you know, like O'Reilly is. I don't think this is a case where if Napa doesn't get bought, it goes out of business like it was with Spirit Airlines. I think it's more of just O'Reilly kind of just continuing to gobble up smaller businesses.
I very much think that if Napa doesn't end up getting bought or get some kind of cash injection, it's probably going to come out of this much leaner, but I doubt it's going to go completely out. Like, they may have to make major cuts and they may have to close down some stores, but I think in the long run they'll still survive. It'll just be different.
Yeah. I do find that this take kind of funny. I'd rather support a locally owned business than a multinational monolith if I can. We're talking about chain stores here. Like, if you want to support your locally owned business, go to, I don't know, your old hardware store? I mean,
yeah, you're not going to go to Napa or O'Reilly's for a locally owned business. Neither of those are fucking local. Napa's still a, decent-sized chain store.
I will admit I don't really have a strong opinion on this because I've never really had a problem with Napa or O'Reilly. They've all seemed perfectly adequate to me. My locals are, I have a Napa local.
I've never had a problem getting parts from any store that I go to. My closest one is an O'Reilly, so that's what I use.
Yeah.
But I've had to use Napa for like for batteries and stuff because that was what was closest when I broke down, and I've had to use,
Yeah.
So I don't think it's really going to matter all that much. I think they may be right. Prices may go up. I'm hoping that the anti-monopoly thing will allow the buy, but kind of impose restrictions on some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like basically you just have ownership stake, but you don't get to change everything, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, my locals are Advance or AutoZone, and they both, I'm gonna say suck. Like, they're adequate. People working the counter are fucking stupid, but as long as I know what I'm looking for, then who cares? They can be as stupid as they want. I know what I want. But yeah, I mean, Napa's, I guess, a little bit more...
Well, if you're doing...
Well, Napa's a little bit more expensive than them, but they've always got what I'm looking for, and they're generally fairly knowledgeable. So I don't know. I don't like that there's less competition in this space.
If you're doing work on your own car, you should be going in there with a part number anyway.
Yeah. I don't like that, like, there's less going on in this space. I don't like one less company in this space. I think that in any kind of industry, there should be a wealth and diversity of companies all competing to provide the best product for consumers. I believe in consumer choice, but at the same time, I don't think we should be prophesizing doom and gloom over this purchase, because they're all perfectly adequate.
Yeah.
And speaking of, another big thing, Jiffy Lube, this one has actually gone through. They've been sold to Monomoy Capital Partners, another private equity company with a perfectly forgettable name. 10-figure...
Look, I have a big problem with this one, and you and I think have a little bit differing ideas of how this is going to go down, but it's obviously not going to end like fucking some buyouts for private equity have ended. But I have a feeling that because of the profit motive, the fucking Jiffy Lube is going to get way worse, and then it's going to end up shutting down because they can't keep up. I think the profit motive is going to make them have to do stupid things like cut a bunch of people, and then anybody who's left is going to be working 3 times the amount. And then, they're either going to come out super lean or they're not going to survive. And I'm going to guess they're not going to survive another 5 years.
I think that's a given
and
either
I think
way.
I'm being nice for 5 years.
I think that's a given either way.
Well, Jiffy Lube has been around forever. I think this is the fucking wrong move, though.
I mean, the right move would be for Jiffy Lube to not be shit. But here we are. Jiffy Lube is shit.
Well, you have a point.
Like, they have earned a reputation for... worse than crappy service, right? It would be bad enough if it was like substandard service. The problem is that their service routinely like fucks people's cars. It's practically a meme in any kind of automotive space that you do not take your car to Jiffy Lube unless you want to end up needing a new oil pan. I mean, any kind of quick lube place, really, they all fucking suck. They over-torque. They either over-torque or, in some cases, under-torque or drain plug. They way over torque your oil filter. In a lot of cases, I swear they do it just to generate repeat business. They use poor quality product. There's locations that have been caught, like you ask for high mileage premium synthetic and they charge you for that, but put in the basic stuff. They use crappy oil filters like Fram. I don't deny that under private equity, they're not going to get any better. I'm just not sure how much worse they can get. They're already like shit. And frankly, people should be doing their own oil anyways.
Wait times are going to go up. They're going to be even cheaper about products than they already are. Anybody that's not being cheap about products in the space is going to end up being cheaper. Private equity, the only thing they're going to care about is monetary value. And it's going to start right away. The moment they were bought, they probably started cutting positions so that they had to pay less so they could make some of their money back.
I mean, I don't deny that.
So
that's probably entirely true. I just don't think there really was a good end for Jiffy Lube. You would need
No, I think the only good end for Jiffy Lube was for them to be bought out by somebody that actually would change it to care, and that obviously didn't happen with private equity coming in.
Who fits that bill that would buy Jiffy Lube?
That has enough money to buy Jiffy Lube? I honestly couldn't tell you, but that's
I think the only way Jiffy Lube ever could have gotten unshitified is if they got leadership that actually gave a shit about the end product and about the reputation and about consumers and put in the time and the effort and the energy to actually like bring up the standard of service they provide. And I don't think that was ever going to happen. As for them getting bought out, the nature of their business, I think, means that they were only ever going to be bought out for profit. And like, yeah, so it's going to make Jiffy Lube's worse. I do not deny that. It's going to get so much worse. But at the same time, like, there's a reason why, everyone says, like, do not take your car to Jiffy Lube.
So the product is going to get worse than it already is, but the reputation really isn't going to change all that much, is what you're saying? Basically,
I'm not even sure how much worse the product can get. It already sucks.
Well, cutting down the number of people and having them need to keep the same fucking timeline is probably going to end up in a lot of oil filters just not being put on.
Yeah.
So they'll take off the oil filter, drain everything, and then they'll just try to put your car back on the road without any oil or oil filter or anything. Because they're overworked and they're not paying attention.
They'll be doing that more than they already. Well, overworked, not paying attention, but I think also not giving a shit. Partly because they're not paid enough to give a shit, and partly because they hire bottom of the basement fucking work. I mean,
I don't think Jiffy Lube even requires anybody to have any formal training before they fucking hire.
Yeah, I mean, I am familiar with it is.
Yeah, I know how to change oil.
I am eminently familiar with working for a company that engages in what I like to call lowest bidder behavior, which is where they offer their product or service at the lowest price to the end consumer, and then turns around and makes their profit margins like hiring people that are willing to work for not a lot of money and paying them not a lot of money. And what you end up with is a workforce that, I mean, you can kind of blame the company for not paying them enough, not training them enough, but also you kind of got to blame the workforce because it really is people that are just shiftless and unmotivated. Both are true. And Jiffy Lube has that problem. The people working for them don't have a strong financial incentive to not be shit. And also, they're the type of people who don't have the personal discipline and personal accountability to build a skill set where they can get a job that isn't shit. And yeah, this isn't going to change that. There's just going to be fewer of those people. They're going to be more overworked, and that sucks for them. I mean, the biggest negative impact is going to be on the people working for Jiffy Lube, who are going to have more work for the same pay, or less pay even. And I get that, and that fucking sucks. But at the end of the day, for the consumer, don't take your car to Jiffy Lube. That much hasn't changed. And frankly, I don't see any reason why anybody who isn't like, unless you are like, I don't know, an attorney or a brain surgeon, or you're working the kind of job where your time is worth a shitload of money, not your average 9 to 5 where no, your time isn't really, the time that you're working is worth money, and the time that you're not working isn't worth anything because you can't get money for it. I'm talking about people who actually genuinely like have the money to pay someone to do oil changes for them, and also it makes economic sense for them to do that. Yeah, those people, fine, pay for your oil changes. Joe Schmo like you and I, do your own fucking oil changes. Like, you should know how to do your own fucking oil changes. It's not hard. If you want to make it even less hard, do what I do, buy a Famoto valve, put it in, makes your oil changes like that. It's super easy and super quick. But beyond that, don't go to Jiffy Lube. And if you were thinking about going to Jiffy Lube, they've just been bought by private equity. Definitely don't go to Jiffy Lube. That's all I got on this.
And I've got it. If I don't want to fucking do my own oil changes, I have a shop that does all the other work on my car that'll do oil changes for the same price Jiffy Lube will do them. But they actually give a shit, and I can sit there and fucking shoot the shit with the guy while he's doing it, and I know him. I know the dude personally. He rebuilds motorcycles. Like, the dude that does my oil changes at the shop that I go to rebuilds motorcycles and stuff. We're actually friends. I like the dude, and he does good work. He did the entire exhaust on my car when I was putting that on. So it just comes down to, if you're lazy enough to do a fucking 5-minute, which turns into a 50-minute oil change, because Jiffy Lube is not nearly fast enough to keep up what they fucking tell you they're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, the thing too is you're just saving so much money. I mean, 5W30 for me, if I want kind of the good stuff, the Valvoline that I buy is like 5 quarts and a filter is like $30. Or I could take it to an oil change place and have it cost at least twice that. I mean, the margins of these places, which is why it's weird that their service is so fucking shit. You'd think with margins that wide, you could afford to pay people a decent wage, but you don't. I've never understood why Jiffy Lube is the way that it
The
is.
problem is the problem is they get sued so often that they're probably having trouble fucking keeping the lease on the building with the profit margins they're making. They were owned by Shell, and then before that they were owned by Pennzoil.
So they were getting their oil for cheap. Yeah. I don't have much more to say on this. I'll take your car to Jiffy Lube. You got anything else?
No. Just don't take your car to any like fast oil change places. Actually, just like go to a shop and that does it, but fucking don't do it here.
And on that terrible disappointment, it's time to end. Thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Have a good one, everybody.